Well, I wish love was an easy song to write, 'cause I'd have pages worth of words that were not lies. Your name would be the melody that's on my tongue. Oh, if love was a simple song. There are no words that have been written or been sung that my ears have heard, or I've cheapened with my tongue. To hold the weight of this thing that we call love. Oh, love's not a simple song, but my songs for you. Though not pretty or poetic, I hope you know it's true. I'm not perfect in my ways, and I let you down most days. No, it's true. Sit there while I tell you just how beautiful you look tonight. As if you haven't heard me say about 100 times. You shake your head and look away. I promise that I've tried my hardest to let go of this, but every time I think about a world without you in it, my life becomes a darker shade of gray. Hey, hey, and all I wanna do is make you smile. When darkness still ensues, I wanna be your light. Whatever we go through, I'll make it worth your while. 'Cause every minute, every hour, every day I wanna make you smile. Stand there, keep on staring while I tell you that you're all I need. And even though I know you know that I'm a fighting breed, I'm gonna keep on showing you exactly